Andy, ahora que eres nuevo contender, pero tienes menos de 10 peleas, ¿cómo rápido tú crees que consigues la pelea por la IBF?
No, realmente he tenido una carrera más rápida que cualquier otro peleador, pero eso se debe también a mi background amateur. Tuve muchas peleas amateur, muchas medallas olímpicas, mundiales, así que creo que ya estoy listo para enfrentar cualquier reto que tenga en el camino y confío en mi equipo de trabajo que haga lo mejor para mí.
So the question...
Si le puede dar un grado a tu pelea o algo que lo hiciste bien.
De un 10, siempre creo que puedo hacer más, así que de un 10 me voy con un 8.
So the first question was asked then. Obviously now you've got yourself in a position to fight for that IBF world title, but you've had like less than 10 fights. How quickly have you moved, and do you think you're ready for this? Andy's answer was, I've obviously moved very quickly in terms of the professional game, but I've had like a significant amateur pedigree, which has allowed me, to really be able to develop things. I've fought the Olympics, I've fought at World Championship level as well, so I feel I'm completely ready for my next step and whatever comes. And the second question was, what mark would you give yourself for tonight's performance? And Andy said, I always believe I can do a little bit more in there, so I wouldn't give myself a 10 for tonight. I'd probably say it was an 8.
Look, the plan for Andy is to win the world title and unify and win every belt in boxing. Right now, there's no question Shakur is the guy at 135 pounds, but Andy wants to be the guy as well. And when he beats Murataya, you've got Abdullah Mason fighting Sam Noakes, you've got Shakur Stevenson. Shakur's looking for all those fights. He wants to know what's next. And I think Shakur would love to be able to fight champions at 135 pounds. And Shakur knows boxing. He also knows how good Andy Cruz is, and I think he'd be up for the challenge. Let's find out. It's what we want. The best be the best. They're two generational talents. They really are. 2 pound for pound great fighters.
Andy.
Let's ask Andy.
Andy, you've back here.
Para mí, no, Shakur.
Yeah, Andy. We spoke about back here, Eddie, up here in the red jacket.
Yeah, wait 1 second. He's still talking.
Oh, he's still talking. Oh, sorry.
Puedo hacer lo que hace todo el mundo, que es hablar, decir que es el mejor, pero al final la última palabra la tiene el ring y cuando llegue el momento ahí se demostrará.
I could sit here and talk, lots of people like to do talking outside of the ring, but I believe that the ring always has the final word, and when the moment's right, it'll be time to show what you can do.
Can we talk about the improvements that Andy has made with Bozy? He alluded that he got to this level really fast, and just talk about the work that he's done in the gym with Bozy Ennis and how he felt in the ring up until now.
Sí, la pregunta era como, hablamos un poco del trabajo que has hecho con Bozy, también muy rápido, qué has aprendido, el trabajo que has hecho en el gimnasio y cómo ha influido en tu carrera hasta la fecha.
Realmente estoy satisfecho y feliz de mi equipo de trabajo, del trabajo que ha hecho Bozy conmigo, porque en cada campamento no dejo de aprender cosas nuevas y he aprendido a conocer más mis habilidades huesísticas y sé que soy capaz de mucho más.
I'm really delighted with the team that I've got around me. In terms of Bozy, I think every time I go into a camp, I never stop learning new things. I've learned a lot about my abilities, my boxing abilities, and I think there's room for improvement, and I can do much more also.
He's now the mandatory. Obviously, Murataya has been elevated, so we have to see what plans he has. I don't believe he has a date locked in, but they may give him a period of time where he's allowed a voluntary defence. One of the reasons we wanted to take this opportunity was because we know the IBF will follow their rules, and that's very important to us when it comes to Andy Cruz, because if he was mandatory with another governing body, we understand that sometimes the rules aren't quite as solid as the IBF. So Murataya being elevated, we believe he should fight his mandatory challenger immediately. And we would like it if that was ordered. But you know it's inevitable with those guys, and that was one of the attractions about fighting this final eliminator.
Eddie, J, Sportbox TV official. Andy, congratulations on the victory. So, with this Andy Cruz tonight, how do you see a fight playing out with Ray Murataya? What is your prediction, and how do you think it would end, in what fashion?
Ninguna pelea se parece, todos los peleadores son diferentes. Simplemente cuando llegue la oportunidad, voy a aprovechar mi campamento al máximo, voy a seguir puliendo mi habilidad boxística para que vean una mejor versión de Andy Cruz en el ring.
No two fights are the same, no two fighters are the same. But when that opportunity comes, I'm going to take full advantage of my training camp, improve on my boxing skills so that I'm ready for that opportunity when it comes along.
How soon could it be this fight, Murataya versus Inoue?
Yeah, I'll tell you something. Inoue against MJ is one of the best fights in boxing. And I have to respect Inoue for taking it, because the people around him didn't want to take that fight. And I kind of feel like I goaded them enough to take it. And I'm very pleased they took it, because I see it as a 50-50 fight. The two best fighters in the division, the best fight in the division. And we're looking forward to being in Japan in September for that fight.
Eddie right here. It's Johnny Boy Boxing at Fight Hype. Eddie, after the spectacular performance by Richardson Hitchens, he called out Devin Haney. Is that a must fight that's going to happen next?
Yeah, I think that, Richie is trying to position himself with those bigger names, and I think the performance tonight was fantastic, exactly what he needed to do. Dominated him and then put his foot on the gas and got him out of there against a brave KAMBOSOS. So, Richie will be looking to land that big fight next, and I think, sooner or later he's going to get it. Keep on improving against the levels of opposition, and sometimes he's fighting not necessarily within his style, he's fighting to make it exciting, and when the better opposition arrives and someone that's more aggressive like Murataya, I really feel like you're going to see the best of Andy Cruz. Don't forget, he's just had 6 fights in the professional code, so I see him as a heavy favourite to beat Murataya, but I think he's a very good fighter.
Do you favor him over a guy like Gervonta Davis?
I mean, look, all these guys are tremendous fighters. I think Gervonta Davis is a great fighter, but he loses, in my opinion, he loses a lot of rounds. And I think he'd lose rounds to Shakur, I think he'd lose rounds to Andy, but he's a great puncher and he's a great fighter. So I just want to see the fights. I mean, I thought George's speech after was tremendous, where he's like, guys, just make sure you fight each other. Whether it's Hitchens, whether it's Andy Cruz, Shakur, Tank, Teofimo, Devin, Ryan, Conor Benn. All of these guys, and there's so many great young fighters coming through. Hopefully they all get in the ring together.
Eddie, Jay with Sportbox TV official. So with Richardson being in the ring with Tio, we did see that it looked like that they were getting along. Who do you prefer next for Richardson Hitchens? Do you prefer Teofimo or Devin?
I'm not sure Teofimo will fight Richardson Hitchens. I mean, the numbers that Teofimo wants to fight, the only way that fight can be delivered is through His Excellency, Turki Al-Sheikh. So, there's the dream world and then there's the real world. We're very aware of the real world and what that looks like, and then sometimes you get an unbelievable opportunity to fight on a Riyadh season card or a Ring Magazine card. And that's when His Excellency's making the fights that commercially probably couldn't happen without him. And that's a great example. Without Riyadh season, Hitchens against Teofimo Lopez just doesn't happen, because Teofimo Lopez would want much too much money for that fight. And the same for Devin Haney against Richardson Hitchens. So the commercial reality is very different to the Riyadh season reality. So we hope that His Excellency likes a particular fight and these guys get an incredible opportunity to be part of a Ring Magazine or a Riyadh season card.
Thank you, Eddie.
Shout out.
All right. George, how are you? Congratulations on a good performance. So tell us the biggest difference you saw between Richardson Hitchens and Devin Haney, Teofimo. We know that you want to see them all in the ring fighting. Let us know what you thought about it.
Yeah, look, again, it's an honor to come back to New York, come back to Madison Square Garden, headline another show here. Thank you to Eddie, Matchroom. I always appreciate you guys for giving me these opportunities. And look, if you take it all the way back, if it wasn't for these guys taking this fight, and who knows what would happen with Top Rank and stuff. So obviously my promoter, Lou DiBella, my own company, Ferocious Promotions. I just give it my all, man. And look, it's hard to, I've fought them at different stages of my career, so it's hard to gauge. But look, they're all tremendous talents. And like I've been saying, you know, I just keep stepping to the best of the best. And, you know, win, lose or draw, I just want to keep fighting the best of the best. So, yeah, look, it's hard. They both have, you know, different talents, all of them. And that's why they just got to fight each other. Make it happen, let them fight each other. And look, one of them will win, one of them will lose. Boxing fans, boxing media, promoters, you know, support it. Support the winner, support the loser, and, you know, move on. Haney, Hitchens, Lopez, Hitchens, all these guys, you know. Lopez, Devin Haney. You want to see them fight each other. And like I said, it's hard to tell who's going to be better than who, because on that night, anything can happen. On any given night, it can happen. It happened for me a couple of years ago, and unfortunately it wasn't to be tonight, but I really believed in myself. I really had that eye, and, you know, it just wasn't meant to be. Sometimes, you know, after a few wars, things just don't go to plan, but it is what it is. We had a great camp in Montreal, and big respect to Ramon Matthews, the assistant, who jumped up and had a tremendous camp. Russ Amber as well, my father in the corner, my manager. You know, that was the game plan, break the body down, and I knew he was going to be sharp early, and I knew I had to just, a bit like Rocky, just take the shots, take the shots, take the shots. And yeah, I knew I might get hurt, and I did in round 3-4 with that body shot. It bloody hurt. But I just dug deep, and then I fired back, and I started having some good success. I clipped him a few times, busted up his lip. You know, but look, it wasn't meant to be, and even when I did get put down, I still got up, 9, 10, I wanted to go more. That's the warrior I am. I'm always ready to die in that ring. I didn't stay down, and that body shot would have taken 100% of all of you here and anyone critiquing online. So, look, I'm a warrior. The sport, you know, like, I keep my head up, I keep my head high. Losing is always a bitter pill to swallow, but come tomorrow, you know, I'll swallow it, and you know, we'll see what's next. For me, I've got a beautiful family, I've got 3 kids, and like I said, I just want to enjoy some time with my kids and family. It was only 80-something days ago when we had another, you know, good 12 rounder. So I've been active this year, been busy, and like I said, I've been busy these last 3 or 4 years. You know, you talk about all these fighters, who's going to fight each other? Well, that George KAMBOSOS from Sydney, who never had, you know, a fair shake, you know, from nothing, went over and did it all, man. And like I said, my cabinet's full, my bank account's full, and I got a loving family. So what's next? I'm gonna go coach my son's footy team right now. He's only under 5s, but you know, that's what I want to do right now.
Happy Father's Day,
And then all of a sudden, George puts himself in position. He gets within range, and then the hands are not really. He's not letting the hands go. We did work on targeting the body. George went a little bit more headhunting. We wanted to punch between punches and kind of sort of like catch when he was throwing that jab and kind of punch with him. And look, we had a perfect game plan. There's no excuses. At the end of the day, you know, George is a warrior. He's fought some really tough fights, and I just believe, you know, these fighters, you know, they take shots, and then maybe they feel that same shot from the fight before. Maybe sometimes mentally it gets in their head a little bit, thinking, oh shit, you know, I know this shot kind of hurt me last time, you know. It's just hard to know what a fighter goes through. But right now, George doesn't have to think about nothing. You know, the simple thing is, he's going to go away with his family. He's not hurt. He got beat by the better man tonight. And the simple thing is, he's just going to go and have a holiday. And we're not going to put him in a position if we don't have to, just to keep proving that George has got to keep getting in there. You know, we don't need to do that. I mean, that's something that me and George will have as a personal discussion. And first and foremost, it's about his health. And I just think when these fighters, they just get battle worn. And I think, you know, George has had some big wars. And it just starts to tell with certain shots, and it kind of puts a bit of doubt in his mind moving forward. But we had the plan to execute. We just couldn't execute. I mean, the instructions in the corner were great. I mean, we were hoping George would kind of, start to put that together. But like I said, Hitchens is no mug. He's sharp, and he could read the play. But we knew how to take the game away. George didn't execute the game. And I know it's easier said than done too. So yeah, right now, Mark was going to sit back. He's going to go away with his family to Portugal.
And you saw it in round 3-4 when you heard me. I hit down on that mouth guard and fired back. And like I said, I had some success. But it didn't teach me anything new. I know I'm a warrior. I know I give everything to the sport. The fans know it, and the fans respect it. And like I said, I fought the best of the best. And that's all I can ever ask for. And I hope the fans respect it. I hope the media respects it. I hope the promoters respect it. And like I said, I look at myself in the mirror. I wanted to win, of course. I wanted to become a 2-division champion. I think this victory would have made me one of the all-time greats, in Australian boxing history. But again, there's so much history already that I've done, and I don't have to prove nothing to nobody. I look in front of the mirror. I know who George KAMBOSOS is. I know who the warrior he is, and I'm not ashamed. I keep my head up, my chin up, my head up, my chest out, and live to fight another day. But we'll have to wait and see.
Well, those three. But it's very unusual to get a trilogy when it's 2-0, right? I mean, we saw it with Canelo. Well, that was a draw in the first fight, right? So, but tell me other big fight trilogies where it's 2-0. It's quite unusual, but that's because it's a great fight, and it'll be a great fight again.
In the championship in Puerto Rico, you showed the emotion of how much it meant to you. How much did this mean to you? Did it overshadow that win in Puerto Rico?
Yeah, honestly, this was the, moment I was waiting for, to come home at New York and headline. But I wanted to do that as the world champion, and I felt like it was going to be bigger for the city. The New York had a lot of big boxing fights in the past years, but New York haven't had their own chair on in a world championship fight since, I think, Danny Jacobs probably was fighting years ago. So I always wanted to be the guy to bring back the championship to the city and just give, New York that feeling of cheering on their own. So it felt great.
Richardson, okay. You had the win. It's ironic because I had asked you back in Puerto Rico about your debut in Brooklyn. You came back here with Eddie, and I asked you about, you being inactive and coming here and the activity picking up. You pick your win up in Puerto Rico, you get your championship. And now you're here, and it kind of just seems like everything just really comes full circle because not only do you win in front of your home crowd, but you get a stoppage. Just talk about the preparation and how you feel in this moment right now.
Preparation was just a lot more mental than physical. Just, like I've been saying, I haven't got comfortable with the big fights, the anticipation, seeing my opponents, hearing what the media got to say, just that whole feeling is a different feeling. Just, you come fight week, the day before the weigh-in or something, you see your opponent in weigh-ins and you go fight. So just getting used to that psychologically and knowing like, oh yeah, like I know what I'm gonna do to this guy, and just believing that I got another gear. And today I've reached that other gear where it's like I'm gonna take him out, and I set it the whole build up to the fight, and I just didn't want to go out there and just box. So yeah, that was just really what it was, just preparing mentally more than physically.
Hitchens, Lowe's with Fight Hype, bro. Congratulations, first off, on the victory tonight. Your first title defense. You got George KAMBOSOS out the way, and you did it in great fashion. When I interviewed you at Gleason's, you told me that you wanted to leave him a bloody mess. Now, you might have not left him a bloody mess, but you were able to get him out of there. How real is the Devin Haney fight now?
He's saying move up to 147. So right now I got a lot of opportunities right now, as far as being able to go up to 147 and hopefully he'll, give me the opportunity because he's still the guy, and obviously at 140. So it's the opportunity is definitely real. I think that fight, the people want to see me and Devin Haney, me and Teofimo. I've been saying for a long time now that they're gonna have to put my name in this conversation. You feel me? Because if you want to see superb boxing, you gotta put me in that conversation with the Devin Haney's, the Ryan Garcia, the Teofimos. I've been telling y'all for the longest, I'm just as good as these guys, even better. Eddie been telling y'all, my manager been telling y'all, my team, my coaches, everybody been telling y'all. But I guess it took that for y'all someone to listen to and hear us now.
you feel about, you know, Bill Haney being here, Teofimo getting in the ring? Just a year ago, they were saying you know, you didn't have the power, you didn't bring the fight to people. Now you're a champion, you've defended that championship, and you've got people here scouting you. What's the year been like for you, and just the turnaround with now people calling you out?
Yeah, you know, just last year, I was leaving London last year, July. I was on Twitter going back and forth with George KAMBOSOS actually. He was like, you'll never be world champion. You only gonna fight in front of 300-400 people. And you know, how ironic is it to defend my world championship against him in New York in a arena that I think he did a great, you know, event. A lot of people came out, the city came out, and it was just dope, you know, in one year that it was a full circle. But I always knew I was gonna get here, and I knew when my opportunity came, I couldn't let it slip away. And I just, you know, tonight stood composed, took my time, and just had fun in it.
Africa, right here. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
Wanted to know, which fight would be more satisfying for you to get? Would it be Haney or would it be Teofimo Lopez?
Teofimo Lopez. I think Teofimo Lopez, I ain't gonna lie, either one of them is a big fight. I feel like just with me, my attitude, my charisma, my flamboyantness, what I bring to the table, people hate me, but they're gonna watch me. So I think that boxing need you know, somebody like me and somebody like Teofimo. He's crazy. So both of us, it'll go for a great build up. We both could fight. We both young in our prime, and I think it'll be dope. And there's a storyline behind it. So I think that's a big fight. Me and Devin Haney's also a big fight. We got history together. So these are all big fights that's gonna happen in the near future. We all in our primes, and sooner or later we gotta show who's really the best.
His program. Tell us about that program and the people in that program and how they've had an influence on you.
And I'm living proof of it. So none of this would be possible without Copy Kids. Like Lou DiBella said the other day, I was the kid sneaking in behind, you know, trying to get in the backstage and trying to like see what's going on with the pros. I used to try to steal the pro gloves after the fight. So it's a full circle moment right now for me.
Hey, Richardson, congratulations on an excellent win. Jay with Sportbox TV official. Just quick question. So we did see you in the ring with Teofimo Lopez. Can you tell us or detail any of the words that were exchanged between you and him?
You know, he basically congratulated me, and I said, yeah, we got to make it happen. And, you know, he's also signed right here with my manager, Keith Conley. So, you know, it's ties right there between me and him. So the fight is definitely something that got to happen. You know, he's already established his name in the boxing world. I'm establishing my name in the boxing world. I'm cementing my name. So it's a fight that got to happen. And I've been calling his name out right before I got out the ring, my last fight. And this ain't for propaganda. This ain't for promotion. I do believe I'm the best, and I'm ready to compete against anybody in the sport.
Thank you.
Bonds gloves boxing until like we started maybe at like 205 and was done at like 301. And this is like something I love. So this is definitely not my final level. This is like, it's a lot more for me to do out here. And y'all just gotta stay tuned. You know what I'm saying? I'm just getting opportunities.
We've been told we have to wrap up, guys, but we've got one more question. Go.
Keith, this is for you. Like Africa said, you do have Teo. How realistic is that fight? Yeah, just how realistic is it?
It's very realistic. Right after the victory, Eddie and I were in the ring, and we actually said we gotta get him a big fight next. We gotta go out there and work together to get him the big fight. The two most realistic fights are obviously Devin Haney and Teofimo Lopez. I managed Teofimo as well. He wants the fight. Richie's wanted the fight for a year, so it's just gonna come down to, I'd say probably in the next 2 to 4 weeks, Eddie and I are gonna sit down together and figure out what we're gonna do with Hitchens next. I know Teofimo wants it, so my guess is that would be the fight that likely happens. It's not a fight I want it to really happen because I manage both guys, but I'm not going to hold them back from each other. But again, it's a collective effort. It's myself, it's Hitchens, and it's Eddie, and obviously the rest of the team. But Eddie and I will sit down in the next couple of weeks and figure out what direction we want to take with Richie.
Yeah, and like I said, I just want to thank, Keith Conley, Eddie Hearn for giving me the opportunity to get here. And they changed my life for 2 years, just like that. All I need was an opportunity, and they did their job, and I'm doing my job, and I'm looking forward to a great future with, obviously, Eddie Hearn, Keith Conley, and hopefully we keep doing great things, and yeah.